trying to make me cry in front of everybody, man?
Yeah, that's the point.
One word of advice. Buy TV, don't spend it on Hooker.
Super Russ. I'm the last character on my Justice League team with these four babes. Oops. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 45 of It's Simply Super. No idea what we're going to be discussing this week, but I put comic books on the thumbnail. So let's see what happens.
So let's try to talk about everything but comic books.
Yeah.
It's funny. So I filmed with Mark at the shop yesterday. And what's going on, Tim?
What's up, Tim?
Yeah, so I filmed with Mark at the shop yesterday, and I didn't have an idea. I was like, is there anything you want to talk about, Mark? And he's like, no, I can't think of anything. And I was like, oh. I was like, all right. So I literally was like, all right, let's just press record and see what happens. And the whole episode ended up being about like old school retro animated series and shows and stuff, cool. Movies and stuff. What's up, Jackson?
Yo, Jackson.
So since there's already a couple of people here, let's see if any of you guys remember this, right? Because I've been all nostalgic about this film in the last sort of week or last maybe couple of months. I've been thinking about, there was this animated movie that I really, really liked when I was a kid, right? And I would have been really young, so I didn't have a huge memory of what it was about or things. I just remember things from it. So it was like a sci-fi. It was very much like Star Wars, right? But it was like an animated movie. So again, first person in the chat who gets it before I actually say what it's called, because for the longest time I couldn't remember what it was called until yesterday. So it was about this kid who's like a slave worker, and he finds this, I guess like a hilt, like a sword hilt kind of thing while he's mining, and it's like some mystical sword thing, and he escapes the mines out into the world which he's never been in, because they're told that the mine world is all there is. That's what the world is, and they worship this god dude, who's not really a god, obviously. But yeah, he gets out into the world. He meets some guy who has a spaceship, and yeah, they go on this crazy adventure, and it's very, very Star Wars-esque. So I actually watched it last night because I found out what it was called. Again, I won't say what it's called just yet, just in case anyone remembers it, because every time I try to explain it to people, they don't remember it. And obviously it's I probably don't do a good job at explaining it, but they had the entire movie on YouTube in HD. So I watched it last night and it was so good. But I don't think anyone's gonna get it. But it was called Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin. Does anyone remember that? Because I literally as a kid would sit there and watch that thing just over and over and over again. And yeah, I never knew what it was called until yesterday. Now I'm more nostalgic. I'm literally watching a VHS copy on eBay at the moment, things like that. But it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was kind of like,
I don't think I've heard of it.
So at first I watched the trailer on YouTube, and then I realized I had the full thing. And someone in the comments wrote, like, obviously people in the comments were like, "Oh, this is such a great forgotten film." And one person was like, "It's kind of like Star Wars crossed with Temple of Doom and heavy metal." And I was like, that's a perfect description of what it is. The thing is, I realized when I watched it yesterday, it is a little bit too much like Star Wars. They took a lot from it. Even the sound effects and stuff like that are just straight ripped from Star Wars. But yeah, it was such a good animated movie. It was from 1980.
What's up, mate? Event
4 or something. What's up, mate? But yeah, if you guys like those, so it's in the same vein as, like, I guess back then a lot of people like that movie Fire and Ice. Did you ever see that? That was like a Frazetta sort of thing.
No, I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, that was another. So I remember back in the day, my dad had them on VHS tape. Like he would tape them off TV or something, and then I'd watch. I think Legend of Orin actually recorded it from the video store. You know, used to do that back in the day. Connect two VHS, two VCRs. What's up, Spidey?
What's up, Mad Spidey?
But yes, I spent last night watching that movie, and it took me way back. So if anyone wants to check that out, it's called Star Chaser: Legend of Orin. It was very cool. You watched anything
The name
recently?
Orange sounds familiar.
Well, yeah, like I mean, I thought people would remember. Like, I guess the whole thing is like, yeah, he finds this sword without a blade, basically, and when he finds it, this weird, I guess, weird wizard dude comes out of it and like tells him that there's this world out there, and you know he's got to find the blade and all this sort of stuff. That's how I recorded wrestling VHS tapes. Yeah. So, I used to get all the wrestling stuff from there was this one video store. So I worked at Blockbuster, and literally on the same road, like literally about maybe 100 meters down the road, there was another video store called Home Show, and they had a really good deal on weekly videos at the time because you could borrow 5 weekly movies for $10. But the difference between them and Blockbuster was during the week you could return them and like switch them over. So you could technically rent 5 movies a day for that $10 a week, right?
Yeah.
So I would hack on like the wrestling stuff, and then once I ran out of wrestling stuff, that's how I found all the UFC stuff, and that's how I got into actually MMA from finding UFC videos on the shelf. And yeah, I remember I got a box somewhere full of VHS tapes, not like real ones, like recorded VHS tapes. And there was one tape that has a sticker on it that says the best tape ever. All right. And when I found it, I was like, I wonder what is on this tape, right? And then when I eventually found a VCR to put it into, it was a compilation of my favorite WWE matches. So it would have had like it would have had like the first Elimination Chamber. It would have had all the tables, ladders, chairs with like the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys and things like that. It's funny to see that VHS tapes have become collectible again.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So like sealed ones and stuff are going on eBay for crazy prices.
Yep. The funniest things, I don't know if I talked about it on this. No, I wouldn't have been because we haven't done this for a couple of weeks. But there's a lot of people who obviously I get it if you want to collect a VHS tape to have the physical thing. It's very nostalgic and things. What I don't get is there's a lot of people now like Sanimation, for example, is one of them. She has an old CRT television, like a really tiny one, like this big, and it's got the VCR built into it. And she watches those movies. I'm like, what are you doing?
I would probably do the same, man, if I had like an old TV like that.
I don't know. I'd rather watch it and be able to see the picture properly. Although in
Just
saying
like
that,
take you back to like the childhood.
yeah, I guess look, those VHS tapes actually will look better on those old TVs than if you actually plugged in the VCR to your new TVs.
Yeah,
because now the new TVs.
I don't even know if new TVs like will even have a spot for VCRs.
My TV does, and my TV is getting old now. But a lot of the new TVs don't have the AV plugs anymore. But you can normally get an adapter that connects them.
Yeah, I thought about trying to find one of those old TVs just for like to plug my PS2 up in.
Well, yes, that is definitely the way to do it. I don't know. Do you follow Comic Man Andy?
Yeah, I'm sub to him.
He did. Well, he does a lot of posts on. We did a few posts on Instagram where he was loading up old PS1 games.
Yeah,
where he's got it plugged into like the widescreen tube television, and I was like, that's the way to do it. Because if you plug that into these new televisions, it'll look like ass.
Yeah.
But obviously they were designed for those old televisions, so they actually look pretty decent.
What's up, Kenneth?
What's up, Kenneth?
Yeah, I was looking at like adapters and stuff, like 4K adapters for my TV to plug it into, and I don't know if I want to go there.
Because I've got 2 VCRs actually.
Really?
Yeah, when my parents moved out of the house, I was like, yeah, you know what, you're not going to be able to get these eventually. So I had my own one, but we had the same like my dad bought 2 of them back in the day. So I had one and they had one. It's Panasonic, and they were going to get rid of theirs. So I was like, I'll keep your one too. So I've got those. I could probably sell those for good money these days. But
it's funny, like looking back on like game systems and stuff, and game systems now. Like you get a game system now, it has like built-in Blu-ray player and stuff like that. How funny would it have been if they would have had like Segas with built-in VCRs back in the day?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember Commodore 64s, but Commodore 64, you could get games that played off a cassette tape.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that? So
No.
I remember, I think it was Commodore 64. My brothers had it when I was a kid, and you could buy games like physical games at the shops, and you open it up, and it'd be like 2 cassette tapes, which means you could actually put that into a tape recorder and record it to another tape.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Anyone remember that? Because I do. I was very young back then, but my brothers were doing it. I remember. Commodore 64, like there was a game Outrun. It's like a racing game. But yeah, last time I plugged in my VCR to my TV, what the TV does is it kind of stretches the picture to match the ratio, so it kind of stretches the image. And then I found like a video converter, and which let you plug the VCR in via HDMI, and then what that would do would rescale the picture so you see the actual ratio. So a lot of things would be letterbox, but at least it would be clear, kind of thing. But you can't find those video converters anywhere, because I've got a lot of VHS tapes still, like home video type VHS tapes. Not that kind of home video, but that I would like to get converted still. Like I got a lot of old footage, I think, from my band, like in the early days of my band, that were on VHS, and I haven't been able to convert them. And I don't want to leave it too late, because don't VHS tapes, don't they like disintegrate or something? Or don't they like turn to crap?
I remember I had an old like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 90s, the movie. And I found it like after years and years. And it like I clicked the thing back to look at the tape, and it had like mold on the tape and junk. Like, dang.
That's not good.
Might as well just throw that out.
I should try to save those things. My parents gave me a bunch of tapes, VHS tapes from like baby footage when I was a little kid. And one of them was just completely, it wouldn't play. Like it played, but it was just lines across the entire, like you literally could just hear the audio. It's not good. But yeah, it was weird. So I bought this video converter back in the day. We used to sell it at my work, so you could plug in things that use the old red, white, and yellow thing and convert them to HD or whatever. And it worked for my video camera. So I used to have an old video camera that took the little mini DV tapes. So I was able to convert everything from that. So again, I had a lot of old band footage and stuff like that. But for some reason, when you plug VCRs into it, it didn't work. And I tried 3 different VCRs, and I couldn't get to work for some reason. And I recently found that thing, and it just doesn't work at all now. And for some reason, finding video converters is really hard for some reason. You can't walk into a shop and buy one.
Old technology.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's like old memories that are just sitting there in a box that I don't want to lose. So I really want to get around to doing that, especially some of that old band footage, man. Like that's big part of my life. So yeah, you haven't watched anything recently?
Not really. I've been rewatching an old series. I don't know if you ever heard of a show called Fringe. It's like a science fiction type show.
Yeah, I remember. I never watched it, but
there's a free streaming service called Tubi or Tubi.
Oh yeah,
and that's one of the shows on there. So I've been rewatching that.
Yeah, because there's so many movies out at the moment. I haven't seen any of them, and I don't know. Like,
I haven't seen anything new.
I kind of want to see Black Adam at the cinemas, but I don't. I was supposed to see it last week, then my mate bailed on me, so I didn't see it. So I'm gonna guess I'm gonna miss that at the cinemas. And Wakanda is just like, I haven't even seen Black Panther, so I don't know if I care too much.
I watched a review on it, and it seems like it's really good. but I don't know when
Yeah.
I'll actually like see the movie.
Yeah, a lot of people said it's very story driven. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
It's not really
They
like an
said it had
action.
like a slower tone than the first movie. I guess it
Yeah.
would have to with dealing with Chadwick Boseman passing.
Well, Jesus, when did the first one come out? Like, what year was Black Panther?
I want to
Are
say
you sure?
2019.
Oh, really? Only that? It's not that old? No. Oh, wait. Yeah, actually, you might be right.
18
Why
or
would I know? I
19.
haven't seen
I don't think
Black
it's
Panther.
that old.
2018.
18.
2018. Yeah. There was a Black Panther miniseries
Really?
in 2010, TV miniseries in 2010.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a lot of miniseries I never knew about. Did you know there was a Blade miniseries back in the day? Like that's quite old now. It's gone
Yeah,
back
I
a bit.
think wasn't it on like Sci-Fi or something, the Sci-Fi channel or something like
Well, I
that?
never saw it out here in Australia. The only reason I knew about it was because there used to be a DVD store in the city. This is how old it was. DVDs were popular. So
Yeah.
there was a DVD store in the city, but it would sell all import stuff. So you'd go there and things were pretty expensive, but it was stuff that just wasn't released in Australia. And I saw the show like Blade, and I was like, what the hell? What year was it?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never seen an episode.
2006, it looks like. Fuck, that's old.
I know that they had a lot of series in the early 2000s that just never caught on, didn't last past a season or two.
What was the didn't they do like they did a Birds of Prey series?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was awful. Like one night I think I just happened to stumble across it and I was like, is that meant to be Batgirl and Catwoman or something like that? And I was like, why does it look so bad?
It's funny you mention that because that's actually one of the shows on that free streaming service, Tubi.
Really? You should
Yeah.
watch that, mate. Do a review.
I need to. I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes back when it was originally on.
Start doing reaction videos, Russ.
Yeah.
Watching Birds of Prey for the first time.
Everybody would think it was that horrible Harley Quinn
Yeah.
movie. And nobody would
I didn't mind that movie that much. Like it wasn't terrible. It was better than
That's another one that I never got around to seeing, man. I'm like 4 years behind on movies.
Yeah, you should so you could do a Perry, mate, and watch a lot of these things for the first time. Years after the fact. Man, my hair is annoying me. Yeah, watching Snyder Cut for the first time.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, because I was thinking I wonder how you go about doing it though, because I haven't seen Phantom Menace, right? The first episode 1 of Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Yes, only one I haven't watched. And I'm thinking maybe I should do a watching Phantom Menace for the first time. But I don't know how to go about, like, do I just set up a camera pointing at me while I'm watching the film?
Yeah.
Like, how do I go about it?
You kind of have to because you can only show, I think, like clips that are 10 seconds long.
But also the audio will get flagged too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my all my trailer reactions always got flagged, and it was mostly because of the audio.
It's not so bad when they allow you to use it anyway, but when they take it down or give you an actual strike, it sucks.
Yeah, I've only ever got I've got plenty of copyright claims, but I've never had a strike or even close to. So I don't really understand what the difference is.
I don't know like the technical side of it, but it's like if you get 3 actual strikes, YouTube just deletes your channel. That's it.
Yeah, that's
you can't get it back.
That's crazy. It's funny. Have you noticed YouTube's changed the homepage, like your channel homepage now?
Yeah, it looks different now on the phone.
So
I haven't checked out the desktop version yet.
So the other night, when I did my top 50 comics video, right? And I was like, I'll leave a link to Beauty Comics and Biggie Shaq's top 50. And when I went to look for Biggie Shaq's top 50, I was like, did he delete all his videos? It said his last video was a month ago, and then before that, it was like a year ago. And it was, did Biggie Shaq delete all his videos? And it took me days to realize, oh, they've separated videos and lives.
Yeah.
And because Biggie streams everything, you have to go to the live tab to find all his stuff. So
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's confusing too, because most people are used to just clicking on the videos tab to go to everything you've got.
Yeah.
But if you separate live, I don't know. I don't understand who makes up these decisions. The Generation X movie. What's the Generation X movie?
I think I remember that. I remember a show called Mutant X. But
Generation X. 1996? Whoa.
I think I vaguely remember that.
What is this show? It looks like the most 90s thing ever. Oh, wait, is this actually... Wait. The new teenage students at a school for mutants. Is this actually based on X-Men?
Yeah, I think it was.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Emma Frost. Jubilee. Wow. I definitely don't remember this.
That was before TV shows drove the price of comics up.
Well, that's what I think Mark said in the video I released the other night about like the comic business post-COVID, and I was talking about, do you think the market will ever crash? And he's like, I don't think that will anymore, because if they keep making comic book movies. But he's like, back in the day, they didn't really have that, and when they did, they were terrible, so no one cared.
Yeah.
Like all the video game
like
adaptation
even the good ones like didn't drive up the price of comics. Like the Batman '89 movie didn't make comics go through the roof. Superman didn't make comics go through the roof.
Yeah, but like the real Batman key has always been expensive, you know?
Yeah, the real keys in the series have. But even the ones like the first Poison Ivy, 4 or 5 years ago, you could get that book for probably $50. Now it's like,
yeah.
insane.
So it would, when I first started collecting, which is again only about 4 years ago, I think that first Poison Ivy was going from anywhere between $2 to $4, about $2 to $350, I'd say, down here.
Yeah.
And now and same with Harley Quinn. First Harley Quinn was about $400, $400 to $500 back then, and then now it's just like over $1,000 every time.
Yeah, especially if it's higher grade. Even some lower grades, I've seen 600, 700. Like, dang, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of mind-boggling, because who decides like what character is going to be worth more than another character? Like, is Harley Quinn really that popular in comics to drive those prices?
Yeah. She's that popular in the mainstream, which is why. Dude, you haven't been to a convention for a long time, all right? Trust me. You go to a convention, there'll be 500 Harley Quinns there. Like, I remember the first time I went to a convention, it was Comic-Con, and this is probably 5 years ago, I would say. I'd never been to a Comic-Con. I didn't know anything about, this is before I even got into comics. I was just starting to get interested in it. There was a Comic-Con happening, so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go to this. And I went by myself, and I was looking around like, there are a lot of Harley Quinns around.
Yeah. It makes me wish, like, when I was younger, I wish I would have known, like, the key aspect of collecting, because I could have got a lot of books for $5, $10, $15 that are worth hundreds and thousands now. But back then, I didn't know anything about, like, the books were actually worth anything. I just got them for the enjoyment of having them.
Well, I learned that comic books were worth something from The Simpsons.
Really?
There's that episode of The Simpsons where they buy Radioactive Man, issue 1 or whatever. Like, and they're turning the pages with the tweezers and stuff.
I had really, up until like 2015, when I first got back into collecting, is when I found out, like, oh my God, a lot of these books are like ridiculous. Like, I had no idea there was actual money in them.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to buy some. So, for example, you know that X-Men Alpha Chrome book. I was like,
Yeah.
this is going to be worth so much money one day because it's all shiny. It looks like it's made of metal. And when I first got my comic books that I found, I always tell the story about the little small stash of comics I found from when I was a kid. I was like, the first thing I did was look them up to see if they had any value, and nothing. You know what's funny? The things that I had the most value were all the books that I don't have anymore. Like I used to have the first Scarlet Spider. That's gone. And I would have probably had the first Kane and all that. I'm guessing if that was around the same time, I probably would have had all that stuff. But my Sonic the Hedgehog collection seemed to be the ones that were selling for the most when I looked them up. So I'm spewing that I don't have that. Not that I would sell them anyway.
Yeah, there's several books that I wish I still had. Like you said, that first Scarlet Spider, that was one I had back in the day. I had nearly the whole clone run because I was a huge fan of that. I had the first War Machine, which still I don't think is a very expensive book. I'd probably get it for like $30 maybe now, a raw copy. But there's just some like that giant size X-Men that I'll never see again.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I never had anything that big.
Yeah. It's crazy because as a kid, I didn't even know it was a big deal. I liked it because I love the X-Men animated series. I mean, I found it at a flea market for $1. So, it never crossed my mind when I was 12, 13 years old that this book is a money book.
Well, it's funny also, another book that's not worth anything is the first Tim Drake.
Yeah, I just got that one a couple years ago for like $5, man.
Yeah, because that's the one I had as a kid, and then I repurchased, and it cost me nothing to repurchase that one.
Yeah, it's amazing to look like. Some of them are still like really like the. I picked up the first Nebula for like $10 in a high grade copy, and that was after the movie had already came out with Nebula.
Really?
In it. Yeah.
Really? That book goes through a bit now, I thought.
Yeah, I think it does now. I believe it was
that one.
2018, 2019 when I picked it up.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. So when I first started collecting, the keys were heaps cheaper. Like my biggest books were all bought back then. So I bought for example, the first appearance of Death in Sandman 8. I bought that $50. I know I'm not gonna. You guys would have found it in like dollar bins and stuff probably. But I got my DC Presents 26, the first New Teen Titans. I paid about $100 for that, and now all those books at least double to triple for most of them.
I know there's several that I missed out on in the last couple of years that I regret, like not getting when I had the chance. Like I could have got the first Barbara Gordon Batgirl for I think it was $275 in a 4.0, and now that same book is like $800-900. I regret not jumping on that one when I had the chance.
Greyman picked that one up in a lot. I remember because he had all these books that he was trying to get rid of. I was like, why do you even have those books? And he said he bought them all in a lot because he wanted the first Batgirl. I think that was the book. She's doing a stream at the moment. Maybe we should jump in and ask him.
That's a good way to get books sometimes. Buy them in a lot, because a lot of times the people selling it don't realize that one particular book is something.
Well, the chances are pretty slim that you're going to get lucky to find something. But because a lot of the times if they sell a lot, I reckon a lot of the people who do know what they've got will sell those big books separately.
Yeah.
So that would be the smart thing to do.
I picked up, I don't know if you know Hank Henshaw. He's the character that later became Cyborg Superman.
Okay.
I picked up his first appearance in a lot for like $5. That's cheap, high-grade copy. I don't know if that'll ever be worth anything, if they'll actually do a Cyborg Superman on the big screen or not. But even if you don't, that's one of my favorite characters, and I just like having first appearances of characters I grew up with.
Yeah, which is why it's cool with newer characters now. Because newer characters are coming out these days, they're not worth anything. They'll be like spec'd for a little bit, and then you'll find them like for less than cover price, a year later. But
But
when
you
a new
never know
character
down
comes
the
out,
road, and they might
that's true.
might go up even higher.
I'm banking on what's that character, Bluebird from the Batman universe. I've got about 4 or 5 copies of that. I kept finding them at this one shop. They had a whole bunch of them. So every time I went there, I just pick one up. And I've even got a copy signed by Snyder and Tynion.
Oh, that's cool.
Snyder and Tynion.
I think the thing with a lot of the new characters is it's going to take like a long time because the new generation that's growing up with these characters now, it might take 20 years for them to look back and get nostalgic on these characters now and start driving up prices. So that's like long-term investments probably.
Yeah. Well, like first Punchline, which I actually don't have. I've got the first cameo, but I don't have the first full appearance. Punchline seems to be a pretty popular character. And they were talking about her having her own show, which I was surprised.
Oh, yeah?
So for example, when they released the Punchline pop vinyl, I got pretty excited. And I was considering stocking up on it, But mate, no one's buying that stuff because no one knows. No one knows who Punchline is in the mainstream. Only people who are buying that are like
probably getting more popular now, I would imagine.
Only amongst hardcore comic fans though, because she's not seen in any other type of media,
But that's how a lot of stuff starts though. It's like a kind of a cult following at first and then the character blows up to the mainstream later.
Well, from what I've heard, like I've got a lot of her solo books as well, which I haven't really read, but I heard they're ruining the character a bit with her solo stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when she first came into the story, she was like this really violent, mean, menacing sort of chick, psycho. And then I guess the more they write about it, the more they sort of dumbing down stories and stuff like that. So, yeah,
making her more of a side character than a main character kind of thing.
Well, not making us, just making some of the stories a little bit silly, I guess.
Oh.
Like she's like a podcaster or something like that. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, they probably should have just went like the full psychopath with her and just made her like just an intimidating villain.
Well, that's what she was, yeah. Like way more scary than Harley Quinn,
Yeah. Didn't she like cut Harley's throat or something at one point in her early appearances?
I can't remember.
Almost killed her or something.
They've had a few biffos, a few brawls. I was enjoying that Tynan run. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I didn't like the events. Like I'm so over DC events.
Yeah,
crossing over every title. I was like, oh, I don't care. Like
they do that all the time, man.
And they all lead to just like nothing really. And what I hate the most, and I've stopped buying them now, but like they always do that one-shot issue, which is the name of the event. And what I found over time is I haven't read many of them. I've read a couple, but when I listen to people talk about those one-shots, they're just like, it's just shit. Why are they writing it?
Now, I remember a couple years ago, they were doing a big Superman event called Leviathan that was crossing over with all kind of stuff. Yeah, and I only got a couple issues of it. And they just kept coming out with more crossovers, and I said, forget it, I'm not buying anymore. And I heard that the storyline just kind of ended up fizzling out, like they didn't really know where to end it or how to end it. And I heard it just kind of fizzled out and didn't really mean anything in the long run of the characters.
It's like, do they seriously think it's a good idea that someone's going to actually read all like the death metal and all that? There's like 20-something tie-ins. That's
when you do a story like that, you should already know how you want it to end, instead of just like writing yourself into a corner and then not knowing how to end it.
Exactly. And that's the same with TV shows, right?
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of Chinese TV series. and they wouldn't necessarily have seasons, or they, I guess they would. It was almost like they would have a story, and it's going to take this many episodes to tell that story. So that could be 8, 9, 10 episodes, or that could be 210 episodes.
Yeah.
But it'd be a series that just kept going until it ended. I don't think they really had well, that's how it seemed to me anyway. Maybe they didn't. I just didn't understand, but it just seemed like they would just keep going until it ended. And if there was a second season, it'd be more like a sequel rather than a second season sort of thing. But I feel like shows should have that, because I feel like shows sometimes keep going for a little bit too long. Like Cobra Kai, like I'm really enjoying it, but it's going to get to a point where it gets stale. They need to end that quick to keep it good, I think. I feel like
they're in like season 4 now, right?
No, season 5 just came out.
Season 5. Okay.
And I was like, this has got to be the final one. It's got to be. But no, they set it up for another one. But the next one has to be. Like, it has to be the last season next time.
They're going to keep going until they like roll out to the dojo on walkers, man. It'll be like the Fast and Furious series. It'll just keep going.
You should
Cobra
watch
Kai
that.
in space.
Have you watched any Cobra Kai?
I saw the first season. They offered like a week or 2
Trial.
weeks of
YouTube,
YouTube Red for free. So that's how I watched it. I got the free trial and watched the first season.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked the first season.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's the cheese just continues, and it's so bad but so good.
They moved it over to did they move it to Netflix? Is that what it's on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was like the most watched thing on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Which seems impossible, but like apparently it's like one of the most watched things on YouTube. So
everybody signed up for the free trial so they could watch it.
Well, yeah, because I actually, a friend of mine downloaded it and then brought it over to my house, and then another friend of mine wanted to watch it, and he's like, "Hey, can I come over and copy the files off you?" And I said, "Hey, man, instead of driving all the way to my house because you live pretty far away, why don't you just sign up to YouTube Red and get the free week and watch it all like that?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that,
man."
So yeah, that's how we did it. And that's how I watched Snyder Cut. When Snyder Cut came out, we downloaded a copy, and the copy was not good. Like the color was just kept fading in and out and stuff like that. And oh shit, I'm getting a headache. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to sign up because it was streaming on a service we have called Binge. So I was like, I'm going to sign up for Binge, and I'm pretty sure they'll offer me the first week for free. So I did that, watched it, and then canceled the thing.
I watched a lot of shows on free trials, man. I watched the entire Game of Thrones series because I had a month-long HBO free trial, and I watched the entire like 7, 8 seasons, whatever it was, in like nonstop.
Well, a lot of those apps and streaming services, well, if you haven't done it for a year, they'll offer you another week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because YouTube keeps bloody trying to offer me another week of free stuff, a free week on YouTube, and I'm just like, I'll wait till it's worth doing.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I got a thing saying I could have a free trial of Netflix, so I was going to do that and catch up on like Stranger Things, and because I haven't seen season 3 or 4, so I was going to get the free trial and do that. But when I tried, it said an account has already linked to this thing. If you want to continue, put in your credit card. I was just like, no.
No, so when you sign up to a trial, you always got to put your you've always got to put your credit card details in, because the thing
But
is,
it said they already had that email, so I couldn't get the free trial.
oh, okay, no. So every time I've signed up to a free trial, they still need the credit card details because it's up to you to cancel it before the 7-day trial finishes.
Yeah.
So that's how it normally works, I think, for me anyway. That's how I've always had to do it. Because they want you to not cancel it, and then they charge you the first month. You're like, oh, I got charged the first month, I may as well use it, and things like that. So,
And I've got Peacock now, so I can watch all the WWE events.
Peacock.
Yeah, that's the streaming service that WWE streams their pay-per-views on now. They've also got tons of movies and shows. I got it for $1.99 a month for the first year.
That's pretty
So
good.
$12 or no, $24 for the whole year.
Yeah, I'm spewing because we have a service called KO down here, and it's like a sports streaming app.
Yeah.
So I don't pay for any streaming services. I literally just, scab off other people. So like I use mostly Sarah's Netflix and Disney. But one of my friends let me use his KO account, and I used to use it just to watch UFC. And then the other night I logged in and it was not logged in. And I messaged him, I was like, hey man, did you cancel your KO? And he goes, yeah. He goes, he changed phone providers, and his previous phone provider was offering it to him for $10 a month. Oh. So I was like, oh man, now I'm gonna watch UFC now. Maybe I'll pay for it. We'll see.
How much is it usually? Like $20 a month or something?
I don't actually know. Look, most streaming services are what? 10 to 15 a month, I think, for most of them.
A lot like I've heard Netflix was doing like an ad supported one now that's cheaper, but their regular service is more expensive.
Oh. Well, that's like they changed the subscription for PlayStation.
Yeah. Now it's like $18 a month.
But hang on, so what's the regular one? The regular one is just so you can play online, right?
Yeah. It's like I think it's $10 a month still.
But you don't get any free games anymore.
No. Well, I'm not sure if you still get the 2 free games a month on the regular or not, because I let mine run out last August and I never signed back up for it. So I'm not sure if they still do the free games on the cheapest tier or not.
Yeah, I just don't play games enough. Speaking of games, I had another crack at Gotham Knights. I finally got some story progression. I literally had 3 sittings where I was only playing like an hour a night, or not even. I wasn't progressing in the story at all. I just kept going out and doing night patrols and beating up people and getting nowhere. And then finally the other night, I didn't even know what I did. I changed characters for a bit. I used Nightwing. And then all of a sudden the story started progressing. I was like, oh, cool. So yeah, I want to start streaming it on Twitch, but I can't find my Red Hood mask. I don't know if you remember my Twitch, but I used to always wear like masks. I can't find my Red Hood mask, and that's a big problem.
Man.
Like, I don't understand where it could be.
I hope you didn't lose it when you moved, man.
No, I've definitely had it here. Like, I've worn it while I've been here. So I'm guessing, like, I went and grabbed it and put it on for like a random stream once and didn't put it back. But where else could it be? But it's freaking me out because I need that. I need to eventually bring Red Hood back to my channel.
Your cat might have drug it off and like hid it somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. You had to wake up at like 3:30 in the morning last night because I heard my cat vomiting. And she vomited everywhere. So I had to clean that up. It was disgusting. Oh, because I cleaned it up fresh and it was all warm and shit. And it's not real bad. So I don't know what's wrong with her, but I'm gonna have to take her to the vet or something soon. But yeah, when you thinking about getting a cat?
I thought about either getting a cat or a puppy or something. My only concern of getting a cat is I'm worried to just jump up on the shelves and just knock stuff over.
Yeah, I think a kitten may do that. It just depends. Like, my cat's pretty good. You know, there's some cats, you see the videos where if there's something sitting on the ledge, they'll just like,
yeah.
Like my cat doesn't really do that. My cat's pretty good. So, and I've got heaps of stuff around here. She doesn't really attack random things. She, you know what? As long as you have things to keep them stimulated. So if you have cat toys,
like
cat scratch, as long as
scratch post or something,
scratch, but also little cat toys and things that they can play with. As long as you've got that, I think they should be okay. What's going on, Roscoe?
What's up, Roscoe?
What would you name your cat, Russ, if you got a cat or a dog or both?
Oh man. The obvious answer for a dog, I would have to name him Crypto.
Crypto, yeah.
Yeah. I would just.
Why can't you come up with your own name, Russ?
Like, I don't know, man. I'd go Crypto. A cat, I'd probably go Garfield or something.
Wouldn't you want to come up with your own cool name? Wouldn't you call it?
I don't know, man. I'd probably come up with something like, if I really thought about it, I could come up with something better.
You could just call it the character. Call it Cyborg Superman. I think cats, like a dog, if you get a dog, Russ, it's going to require a lot of attention. Mr. Pervert, that's a good name. A dog would require, which is why I prefer having a cat right now. Like, I'd like to have a dog one day, but right now I don't have the time to look after a dog. Well, a cat kind of looks after. She kind of looks after herself.
I've heard cats are more like independent and stuff.
Yeah. So they'll come to you for love when they want it, and then other times they'll just do their own thing.
Yeah. Like throw up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I just heard her last night, and then I felt bad because like she doesn't look like she's having fun because it takes a lot. She doesn't just go. Bleh. It sounds like there's a pump in her. She's like going and it takes ages for it to actually build up. And then like I went to wipe up, and it's on the carpet as well. So fucking I wiped it up, and and it was spilling out of the napkin, and it was all warm, and it smelled real fresh, and it was bad. It was bad.
Fun times.
And of course, you've got to clean their litter, which is good fun as well. Yeah, but I know it's been so long since I haven't had a cat. So, like before I had this cat, I was living with my ex, so she had 2 cats. Before that, when I was living with friends, they had like their own cats, and yeah, I've had cats in my life for a long time. So it'd be weird to not have one.
Yeah.
But my cat doesn't get along with other cats, so that's the problem. Eventually, me and Sarah will move out, and she's got her own cat. And if we bring them together, no, that's gonna work. Yeah, June hates other cats. So when I first got her, I was still living with my ex, even though we'd sort of broken up already. I adopted June from my parents, and I literally had her locked in a room for like a month or so, and then getting closer towards me moving out, I started to let her out in the house, and she would just terrorize the other 2 cats. And I felt bad because I love the other 2 cats as well, you know. So I was like, "Hey, this is not your house. Stop being a bitch."
Territorial.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I know she's capable of having friends because when she lived with my parents, I remember she met some other cat, you know, just on this out in the streets. They used to like hang out together. So I know she's capable of it, but at my old and also she's been locked inside for years now. I've made her an indoor cat now because I just know if I let her out, like my old place, I was living on like a 3rd story sort of thing. She had a balcony she could go to, and in this place there's other cats, and I don't want her to fight with other cats, so I just kind of keep her inside now. So I guess she hasn't really had the interaction either with other cats. But at the old place, my neighbor had a cat, and it was a really cool cat. And one day it was just sitting at my door, like behind the security door, and you could see the cat. And I was like, call my cat and say, "Hey, come check out the neighbor's cat." And my cat just comes straight over and starts swiping at the door, like swiping at it. It's pretty crazy.
Attack mode.
Yeah. So yeah, Spidey loves my cat. Spidey is a hashtag cat guy.
Does Matt Spidey have any pets?
Yeah, he's a cat. He's pretty cat crazy. He's got a cat.
Oh. I was gonna say I don't think I've ever seen one in his videos.
Well, actually, sorry, it's his partner's cat.
Oh. I know I gotta catch up on I gotta catch up on Matt Spidey's videos. I haven't seen the last 3 or 4 of them. I got a bunch of them in my watch later list.
Yeah, so the weird thing is my cat at the moment is not really eating properly. So she's become really, and it's not like she's not hungry. She's just become fussy. And that's the problem that I've had for the last year.
Yeah.
I've taken her to the vet quite a few times, and they put her on this medication. And when they put her on this medication, so basically I noticed what happened was she stopped eating cat biscuits. So in the morning you feed them biscuits, and she just stopped eating biscuits altogether. And she just not eat anything all the way till dinner until I fed her wet food. So I took her to the vet, and they gave her this medication. As soon as I gave her the medication, she was chomping down her biscuits like crazy. And then I obviously eventually had to wean her off the medication. And then slowly she declined back to just becoming fussy with eating. So I took her again. They gave her the medication again. They had to keep her for a while last time. They did some tests on her. And the vet said to me, I have never seen a cat eat food like your cat just did. My cat literally just like, it's like you would think she's never been fed before when you come to my house. She's just meow, meow, like she doesn't stop. But then now she's gone again to the point where she's not really eating properly. Like she'll be hungry. She'll go to the kitchen meowing, wanting food, but then you put the food down. She looks at it and she's like, walks off. I'm like, okay.
You'd be like, take this away and bring me some fresh salmon.
Well, man, I was cooking her chicken.
Oh,
I was
yeah?
giving her
Dang, man.
cooked chicken, man. Like I would steam up chicken for her, and that she loved that. But even that's gotten to a point now where the most recent time she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be sick of this, mate. I need something else."
That's better than I've been eating. I'm gonna have to come to your house.
What's up, Glitter?
Hey, Glitter, how's it going?
Maybe you should get a cat, mate. You can do streams with your cat. You get more views, mate.
I've thought about it, man. Really have.
Start doing a cat video channel and start joining the cat community.
Yeah.
I did that video on my cat years ago when I bought the cat feeder, the automatic cat feeder, and some like it gets a few views, you know, like just some randoms, and some random person like left a comment saying how that what I fed her is not good for him, and how her cat feed that she bought a automatic cat feeder, but it's better than my one and stuff like that. I was like, what? All right, cool,
Man,
lady.
people want to like turn anything into a competition, don't they?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah. Although, yeah, I got to say, Russ, it does cost money to own a cat tier service.
Yeah, that's another factor. It's like I can barely take care of myself. Can I afford to feed, a pet if I got one?
Yeah. Yeah, especially if your cat's fussy like mine. Take it that was your ringtone.
Yeah.
Mate, you wouldn't believe it, but I've got the Ultimate Warrior entrance music as my
Oh,
ringtone.
for real?
Yeah. I'm not even a wrestling guy. But that's my thing.
I know the Ultimate Warrior, man. It was just like he had so much like hype and excitement around him when you'd like see that as a kid. Just run to the ring, the music, yeah. I think that's what made him popular, man. If he didn't have that gimmick, I don't think he ever would have gotten over.
Yeah, because a lot of those wrestlers back then they were kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like clotheslines, chest slaps, and leg drops. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who was the first guy who was really, like?
I mean, the first one that I ever saw that was like just insane to watch in the ring was like Rey Mysterio in his early WCW days.
That was way later, though, right?
Well, I mean,
late 90s or something.
It wasn't too far. I think it was 95, 96 maybe when Ray came into the WCW.
Yeah, like he was out of control. Like he was very, very.
And that was like my first introduction to like crazy, like super fast athletic wrestling. Because before that, it was just dominated by guys like, Hogan's, Flair's.
Yeah, where they do that.
Guys like that, yeah.
Strength testing. I was like, what is
the
this?
Like 2 moves of doom, the big boot and the leg drop, and it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, so Rey Mysterio, I'd heard of him. So I was obviously into WWF back then. And there was some people at school who would be into WCW. So I heard of Rey Mysterio because I know there was this girl who was obsessed with him back when I was in high school. And then when he finally came to WWF, I was like, holy shit. It's pretty impressive.
I know I didn't get into WWF until the late 90s, early 2000s because I was like all about WCW because that's like when I first started watching back in 91. And I remember when I discovered WWF, I like immediately like would go to the video store and like rent the old WrestleManias
Yeah.
Like, and became a huge fan of the Macho Man, man.
Yeah, I watched all that stuff when I was a kid because my brothers, I don't know how they got it back then. Like, I don't know, because I was so young, I didn't know where where the source was. Um, and then obviously I went through the years where I just didn't get access to it. So I never watched it. And then obviously went to that phase where I got a bit older. I was like, well, wrestling's fake. Why would I watch that? And then it was on TV one night. They played Survivor Series, and that's when I got introduced to like Stone Cold and The Rock and Mankind.
Yeah.
And I was hooked instantly. I was like, "Holy crap, that was so good! I couldn't believe how good it was." And then I was obsessed for a few years.
It was awesome, man. Like that whole era. Like I missed it when it was originally live, I think, by a couple years. But I went back and I watched like all like the Undertaker and Mankind and the Hell in a Cell match. I would rent those and see all that stuff.
Yeah, well,
That was crazy, man.
that was the problem. So once I got back into it, the only way I could watch like the weekly shows like Raw and SmackDown or whatever it was, my brothers used to have cable, so they would tape it for me, and then I'd borrow the tape off them. So I'd only get it every now and then. And the only way to watch the pay-per-views were I'd watch them, I'd have to hire them from the video store, but they'd come out like 2-3 months later.
Yeah.
So
It would take a while for the video stores to get them.
And nowadays, man, things come out the cinemas and they're bloody on DVD bloody 3 weeks later.
Yeah. I remember we had the video store at our house or near our house when I was younger was called Shows to Go. And every Wednesday night they had 99-cent rentals. So that's when I would go and rent like a load of WWF pay-per-views and stuff. I'd get like 4 or 5 and just watch them like all night long.
Yeah, and I remember just my knowledge was so good back then. Like I could tell you every WrestleMania main event and stuff like that, and what happened to which one.
Yeah.
And now all that memory's just gone.
I still remember a lot of like I couldn't tell you like who did the main events of what WrestleMania or anything, but I remember a lot of the matches, just not exactly when the placement was.
Because at the time, I remember when I was still following it, like if you won the Royal Rumble, you won the main event of WrestleMania. Like it was very rare. I think at the time there was only
that was good.
There was only like 2 or 3 people that had won the Royal Rumble and not won the title at WrestleMania. So
yeah, now it happens like way too often.
As in, like they don't win. They don't win at the WrestleMania.
Yeah, or they'll win. Like I've seen somebody win the Rumble and cash in their championship match like the Elimination Chamber instead of WrestleMania.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's back when like the titles were separated. They had 2 world champions, one on either show. So they had to do like different stuff. Because, there's only like one main event spot then. Now you got WrestleMania night 1 and night 2. And
I don't like having 2 champions on it. There should be like an undisputed,
Well, there have been now for, I think Roman Reigns has held the undisputed championship for something over 800 days now. It's crazy.
Did he beat Logan Paul? Because didn't that happen?
Yeah.
Did he win?
But Roman won the match, but it was a crazy match, man. Logan Paul, like, he impressed me in that match, man. I think he could have a legit career as a WWE wrestler. He did get injured, though. He tore his ACL. So he's going to be out for several months. But I thought he was a joke, man. And but he just took to wrestling like almost instantly.
Yeah, I heard he's pretty impressive. I've seen some highlights. All right, well, we reached an hour, mate. We did it. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. From cats to food to vomit to wrestling to video games.
You can call the episode Greatest Hits.
Yeah. I think I'll run with that title.
Any videos coming up, mate? Or do you want to talk about your giveaway? I haven't even entered the giveaway yet.
Yeah. I'm currently running the giveaway, and I'm still, I think, 25 or 26 subs away from 1,600. And when I hit 1,600, I'm going to reveal the next lot of books in the giveaway. And for every 100, I'm adding more books to the giveaway. So every 100 subs on the way to 2K, more prizes will be added. And by the time I actually hit 2K, it's going to be a huge stack of books.
Careful, Russ.
Yeah. But I want to do it, man. I'm like, if I actually can hit 2K, I just want to make it like a massive, like, thank you giveaway, you know? Because it's going to be something really special if I can actually do that.
Just be careful with that international shipping,
Yeah.
mate.
I'm gonna be
Pray that I don't
sweating.
win.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sweating if like you or like K Titus or some. But I figure by the time I actually get there, I'll have plenty of time to save up for shipping and stuff. I won't have to just like take it out of one check because I'm thinking it's gonna take months, man. Because I've been at 1575 for like a month and a half, and even with the giveaway, I haven't gone up any. So
Yeah, but all your subs are going up because of the shorts, yeah?
no, I'm still stuck at 1575. My
Yeah, but you
last
haven't
two
been.
shorts got
Yeah.
2 views apiece, so I just deleted them. Yeah,
Yeah, because my last shorts I did gaming like 10 subs. I did like that Harley Quinn
really.
shorts, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
like
Even with the like reveal of new books, my sub count has not gone up. So I
that
don't know.
definitely gets tougher, mate. Especially when you're not
Yeah,
making videos, Russ.
yeah. Well, I mean, I try. I've got a few. I've got a few coming. Um, I'm going to get back to the video game content and the superhero origin content soon.
Mate, I can't believe only 30 people watched the Tim Tam Slam. What are you guys
I
doing,
know,
people?
man.
That's a good video.
Yeah,
The thumbnail says it all. Slam dunking.
I'm surprised that one didn't take off more. But I'm going to be on Magic Lasso's channel this Sunday for the next episode of Fanboys. So
Cool.
if anybody watching on the replay isn't subbed up to Magic Lasso, I'm going to drop his link in the description after the stream is over. Go check his channel out. I believe it's going to be at 8:15 Sunday night.
Sweet.
You got anything coming up?
I recorded a video with Mark yesterday, and we just talked about again old animated movies and shows. So I guess I got that coming out. Other than that, that's all I got planned so far. So, and obviously the weekly hauls and maybe some random lives. I've been doing a lot of lives recently, so
Yeah.
don't be surprised if I just show up live randomly as well.
When you gonna do that 24-hour stream, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if I need to anymore because I'm getting close.
Oh,
But
yeah?
I still would like to. I think it's a good idea. And again, doing something like Old Wolf's doing, where I choose a charity to raise some money for. Like I've never done anything like that, and I think that would be cool to do.
Yeah.
So
The,
maybe I will still.
The Super Rust Foundation is a great charity to donate to for your 24-hour stream.
Well, maybe that's what you should do. 24 hours and
Yeah.
raising money for you. All right, mate. Well, thank you everyone who hung out. We appreciate it. And
It
we
was a
may
fun
be back
stream.
next week. Same Rust time and same Rust channel. Like that.
Peace, guys.